What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am live. I am the Crypto Crow. It is about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be doing something a little different tonight. I'm not on here really to talk about crypto this evening, uh, because I came upstairs to my office, and I well, quite frankly, I see Rusty. What's going on, Rusty? Anthony, what's going on? Crypto Tom, live at 11 p.m. Yeah, this is actually, I'm hoping I don't get emotional about this, but because this is, so I came up to my office tonight and I thought, my wife's birthday was today, and we had a great day, a great weekend. And I sat and I started thinking about my life, right? And I started thinking about, um, the things I've accomplished, the things I've done, where I'm at, and I came up here because I'm painting these. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're Warhammer 40K Death Guard models. That's what I do at night. Sometimes I will listen to YouTube and I paint, and I research and I follow up with everything I've got going on Telegram and things. And I started thinking to myself tonight about when I was a kid. And I started thinking about all of the people in my life that have influenced me in really deep ways, in very positive ways. And I think to myself, and I forgot all about this because my childhood was so wrought with abuse of all kinds. Growing up in Canton, Ohio, when I was young, it was just bad. I mean, I saw my first armed robbery when I was, I don't know, 8. I mean, I was in the convenience store when it happened. Um, I've seen so much. I mean, I used to have a neighbor that would smack me around all the time, locked me into a dark garage for like 4 hours where I basically passed out crying because I couldn't get out. And he just so much, so many things, right? I mean, I dealt with a whole lot, and I'm not trying to like I mean, this is a late night thing, and I guess I'm kind of airing some things. I saw a lot of bad stuff, and there were people in my life that really changed a lot for me mentally, basically in an inadvertent way, giving me hope. And I wanted to point one of these people out because when I was, God, I don't even remember how old I was. This gentleman, which I have no picture. But this gentleman, Dr. Marvin R. Boren, a podiatrist in Canton, Ohio. I have been trying to locate this gentleman for so long. He's now 70 years old, still lives in Canton, is still a podiatrist. And I'm going to tell you why this gentleman is important, as well as this. This is the Big Brothers and Big Sisters organization. And I forgot all about this. In my life, in how busy I get and how wrapped up I get, I every once in a blue moon, I will have a thought, I will have a memory, I will think about something. And I thought, you know what? It's late at night. I'm contemplating my life and I'm thinking about the pros and the cons and the way the world's changing, the way the world is divided, the way everyone's at each other's throats. And I'm thinking about my childhood and how just fucking terrible it was. Okay. I mean, really, it was terrible. And I know there are so many others out there who also have a similar story about their childhood. I don't know many who have had a fantastic childhood. But I will tell you right now that this group, the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, really helped me in a lot of ways. And I really want to draw some attention to it because my mother, I grew up, a lot of as, with a single mother. And, I never met my father. To this day, I've never met him. And this is really tough to do, but I just felt like I really need to. Um, I never met my father, and my mother was basically raising me by herself. I mean, on welfare and just basically, waiting for me to get old enough. I mean, she basically did garage sales and flea markets and things to try and make ends meet while I was just getting old enough that she could go back to work. I mean, my mom is ex-military, Air Force, um, jumped out of helicopters and all kinds of stuff, and it was rough, right? It was really rough. And I think about all of the blessings that I have, and I think about, my family and just all of the people that I have in my life that actually mean something, because sometimes I get really caught up in depression. I get I get really caught up in focusing on so many of the bad things going on that I lose sight of all of the positive things that I have going on. And, some of these positive memories are because of this gentleman right here, Dr. Marvin R. Boren, podiatrist in Canton, Ohio. And I'll tell you why. When my mother set me up as a, to try and find a big brother, somebody that could be a role model for me, not having a father, not having, any my uncle Mike and my uncles, they all lived in different places. My uncle Mike was in the Navy. He was, fixing helicopters on aircraft carriers, and I just didn't really have a male role model. I was basically raised by Catholic women my whole life. And I met Dr. Boren through the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And this gentleman did very well. He was a doctor. I remember him. I remember he drove a really nice Audi. Took me to his home once. It was beautiful. And I remember he had this big piano, and I it was the first time I'd ever seen a piano. And he was like, yeah, it's my daughter. She takes piano lessons. And I think he said maybe he did a little bit. Um, and we didn't do anything mind blowing. It wasn't like, and I guess that's the point I want to make in this video, even though I know it's not crypto related, and I'm sorry, I just don't care. Because this to me is something so much more important than the current crypto stuff. And we're going to talk about some crypto because I have been taking a look tonight. But I wanted to get this out. First of all, I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Marvin Boren, because, the memories that I have, really, I mean, it was just about the compassion, the idea that somebody who was well off, a doctor, did well, had his own family, was still taking time once a week to take this poor scrub like me out to dinner, maybe to a movie or whatever it was, and just talk to me and just talk to me. And I can't stress how powerful that was. No, I haven't been drinking. I haven't been drinking at all. I'm drinking Propel vitamin water. I just sometimes I come up in my office and I start working and I just start thinking about things, and I start thinking about, my life and where we're going and what's going on and how did I get here and who helped me get here, and I start thinking about just people like Marvin Boren, groups like the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And basically I'm talking about this now because if any of you guys have an opportunity, guys, gals out there, you have something to share, you want to touch someone's life, you want to get involved, and do some good, honest to God, doing something as simple as joining a group like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, just taking someone out, man, just taking someone to a movie, taking someone to build a model together, just like anything. I mean, because I tell you what, those are some of the best memories I have, and it wasn't anything crazy. And so, yeah, I just basically wanted to point that out. I wanted to thank Dr. Marvin R. Boren. Once again, I've tried to track the gentleman down on Facebook. He's not there. Man's 70 years old now. I don't even know if he's ever even heard of Facebook. And, you know, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's such an important thing, and it's something that it's so worthwhile. It's so worthwhile because especially if you're somewhere close to an area where, you know, people are poor and struggling and whatnot. I mean, I tell you right now, um, you're heard and you're appreciated and you're valued for the entirety of someone's life. I'm 44 years old and I still get emotional thinking about this, about big brothers and big sisters, and about the role model that I had who, you know, was basically showed me like, this is how someone else lives. This is how other people are outside of this world. Because when you're that young and you grow up in an area that's so rough and so just kind of bad and poor and everything is a struggle, and it continued for years. You know, it's not like I left Canton and things got better. It was just kind of, it's like a lot of the memories that I have were just really, really bad there. And I think about having been able to see something as simple as having been able to see the way someone outside of my world at the time lived and what was possible. I truly believe put a light in my head that said, this isn't everything to you. This isn't all you're ever going to have. This isn't all you're ever going to be. You're not always going to be this poor, sensitive kid growing up in some hood, you know? And I think about it all the time. I really do. I think about Dr. Boren all the time. I've tried, and I found his office number. Wow, my face is shining. I found his office number, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just don't have it in me to like call his office and be like, hey, do you by chance remember that poor ass kid you took to dinner and a movie and, you know, showed you the piano and like talked to? I remember he took me it may very well have been my very first steak dinner, and I'm not kidding. And I remember sitting there struggling to cut it. And remember, he's a podiatrist, a foot doctor. and I remember I was struggling to cut. He's like, you need some help with that. And I'm like, no, I've got it. And he's like, you sure? Because I cut meat for a living. And I remember laughing so hard, I think I was crying because it just hit me like, yes, you do. You're a freaking doctor and you perform foot surgery. So anyway, I really wanted to come on here and like just basically get it out. It was in my head. It's in my heart. And I wanted to just kind of share it with everybody who's up late, probably drinking on a Sunday. I really haven't had anything to drink at all tonight, quite frankly. Just this is what I do sometimes. I just sit up here, I watch videos, I paint models, and I just contemplate life, and I contemplate the world and where we're at and where I see us going and what's happening, and you know, what am I going to do for this week? What am I going to be scheduling out? What kind of content might I be doing? And so that's that. Well, I'll take a quick look and see who's making fun of me in the comments before I go on to the crypto stuff. Oh gosh. What's going on, Anthony? Crow the goat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Love you too, Crypto Tom. I appreciate you. I know you're here all the time, and it's always a pleasure. Studio looking awesome. This actually isn't my studio. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. This is actually a radio studio's photo that I took, and I completely edited the entire thing to make it a background because I've been just debating. I mean, my office is pretty cool, but it's not set up quite like this. But you know, Terry Ray, let it out. Yeah, I've been struggling. I've held it together pretty good. I've held it. I was a little emotional before I even started the video. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do this, but I've held strong. I haven't lost it. Hi, Jack Martin. Where's Jack Martin? I don't see Jack Martin in here. Where is he? I haven't seen Jack Martin in a while. Yeah, I don't see any comments from Jack Martin. Unless Russell Rock has become Jack Martin. I don't know what's happening. Ava Angel's in the house. What's going on? Welcome. Oh, I don't know what is it? Bahalana. Let's go. Right there with you. And I live in Ohio too. Oh, Marky, cool. Well, I'm in Florida now. um, but still have a lot of family, still have friends in Canton or not Canton, Cincinnati and Cleveland. So damn son, what I just jump into an emotional meltdown. No, I'm totally kidding. Sure, yeah, hit the likes. Sure. Nobody's gonna watch this video. Nobody's gonna care about this because it doesn't say Bitcoin or crypto in the title, but it's not the point of it. I live about 45 minutes from there, could look into it for you as well. You are divine and a sensitive. Well, thank you. I don't know about divine, but I am a pretty sensitive individual. I mean, I definitely have my moods and my moments, and yeah, no, I don't need anyone looking into it or anything. I figure at the very least, I'm thinking about sending him a big letter. I might just mail him a letter with some photos and an invite to visit Florida anytime he wants. I think that's probably going to be the way I go about it. I could call, but to me, calling someone at their office is so intrusive, and I don't know, it just didn't seem right. Probably why we gather around you. You're a real one. Well, thank you. I feel that I am. Algorithm is working for me tonight. Not snarky. Have you been drinking? No, I haven't. That's what I saw. I saw that comment. That's when I responded. No, I haven't been drinking. Who is messaging me? Oh, Rusty. Rusty, you're in chat and you're texting me. I'll check out your text in a little bit. Sick Fair Text T just got into Muay Thai. Oh, Muay Thai is such a beautiful, nasty thing. Most people don't expect a sharp elbow clipping them in the face. Yeah, Anthony, it really is. I really think about it quite a lot. If I can inspire a few people to go sign up for like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, I feel like man, we need stuff like this more now than ever. I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, keep the politics and the crap and the world stuff out of it. When you boil it down to just human nature, there's so many more people with less now. And I really, my wife and I talk about this all the time. And I tell her, I figure 2025, 2026, I think that's probably when I'm going to completely retire from crypto and everything else and just spend the rest of my time trying to do stuff like this, man. I mean, I really would love to do like a college tour. And I would love to do a college tour where I'm basically speaking to the young minds of colleges all over the place. They may very well not like everything I have to say, but I feel like, my life experience definitely has a lot of value. I really believe that my life experience has a lot of value. I've lived a long time in my years, and I've lived through a lot of shit. And a lot of people, I feel like I think people in general, they go through a lot of problems and a lot of trouble and a lot of issues. And it either makes you hard and mean and nasty and selfish in a lot of ways, where you lose all faith in humanity and you just kind of want to milk everything and everyone for everything you can get, or you just want to do well, be left alone, and try and change the lives around you as best you can for the better. And just try and send rays of hope, rays of positivity, rays of whatever you can. I don't know. I have a whole thing, but I would love to do a college tour where I talk about, being self-employed, being an entrepreneur, what it takes to set up a business, not all this Gary V shit where it's just like, quick money here, all these big quote unquote gurus that are trying to tell everybody everything they need to do to make $1 million. And if you buy my course for 12 grand, and, I'll tell you how it's done and all. I don't mean any of that bullshit. I mean, to me, it's funny because I think to myself, if you're worth so much money, why are you selling a course to the rest of the world to teach them how to do it? Why not just teach them? Like, what? I'm here on YouTube all the time. I don't have any paid groups. Join my paid group. Uh, and I'll give you stock trading tips and things like um I try to basically just come on here and share everything for free as best I can. I have my little projects and things, and it is what it is. But I don't understand why somebody with their own jet needs to sell a course on how to become a millionaire. It just, to me, just doesn't seem right. Like, why wouldn't you just want to pay it forward? You've had a great opportunity. You've learned a lot. Why wouldn't you want to pay that forward and share it? That's why I talked about CoffeeZilla recently in a video. And, honestly, I mean, the stuff he's been doing lately has been pretty damn good. He did a video recently on helium, and it came out after I did a video on helium. And I'm like, man, I'm either just way too naive or what. And I really wish, I'd love to like chat with CoffeeZilla and just be like, dude, like, how many people do you have on your team? Is it just you? Like, how do you dig up some of this stuff? Like, what? Because he was talking about stuff with helium, and I'm like, you know what, man, that's probably a pretty accurate assessment if I were to guess. Even though when I look at helium and I think to myself, this looks amazing, and it's building a big foundation, it's building the framework for something big, it's not making any money. And but he was talking about, the mining, everybody's selling these miners and how that's kind of helping to pay other people that already have miners and are mining. And when sales are down and I'm like, I never even thought of that. I never even thought of that. And I don't know if it's because I don't think that way, or I don't know, man. I thought I thought it was a really good video. And he did that video on Andrew Tate. And I'm like, oh man, like this dude, sometimes he does videos on people and I'm like, man, that seems kind of low blowish. But I don't know. Lately, I'm like, he's been doing some pretty good stuff. So you're really cute. How tall are you? I'm 7 feet tall. I'm 7 feet tall. My wife is only 5 feet tall. She's actually asleep in my pocket right now. She passed out a couple hours ago. She's got to wake up early. But yeah, I'm 7 foot. I was actually 6'6" in the 8th grade, and I started in a new school in the middle of my 8th grade year, and everyone thought I was a substitute. And it took about until the end of the day for everybody to realize I wasn't a teacher. Well, I have been drinking tonight. Yes, it's Sunday. Forgive me, Father. It's all good, little crow. No problem. My friend was a big sister to a special needs young boy who later died. She blessed them both. Wow. Wow. That's sad. That's really sad. Smash those likes, folks. Let's get this YouTube algorithm set straight. I will let everybody know that I have an editor, and I found a researcher and script writer, and I'm trying to work out details to where I'm going to be launching. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on setting this up after this video, because I am going to be launching a second channel completely disconnected from this one, so that I start building that channel up and sharing some really, really good video content, well edited, well cut, entertaining stuff, informative stuff. And it's going to be a mix of a lot of different things, from, research of projects. Where are they now? Kind of things going on in the world today, a lot of different stuff. And I'm actually really looking forward to getting that started. So I will be announcing that. I'm guessing by my next video. I also think I'm going to be on BitBoys around the block pretty much all month. I think probably the next 5 Fridays. I think I'm because they sent me a thing like, when are you free? And I'm like, you know what, man, I'm free for all of them. I'll do all of them if you want. And they're like, that's awesome. So I may very well be on BitBoy quite a bit over the coming month. I think I might be on tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure I wrote down the dates. Let me see if I have them. Yeah, 8/29 Monday. So I think I'm gonna be on BitBoy tomorrow. For those of you that care. Okay, let's get down. I think we're down to the last couple here. Giving a light to someone else is the best thing we can do. It takes nothing away from us and makes the world a better, brighter place. I threw better in there. I just thought that's where that sentence was going. But you're right. It's very true. Very true. Crawford Fortune, you should totally call. I'm sure he would love to know he was a positive influence on someone's life. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm so conflicted. Because if it were me, I'd be like, I would love the call. It would totally touch me, and I would totally love it. So I don't know. If anything, I might leave because I'm sure like a secretary or somebody's going to answer, and I'm like, listen, he was like my big brother when I was a kid. Here's my phone number. So we'll see. What's up, Willy Wonka? How are you doing? Smash the likes. Is it Marky? I love that. When I think of Marky, I think that's the first woman I've seen named Marky since Marky Post and Night Court back in the day. I mean, who didn't crush on her back in the day? I mean, I was young and I still had a crush on Marky Post. Crow, I want to animate that background for you. I'll make it a loop. Oh, that would be cool. I can send you a file. Just hit me up on Telegram. I know that there's software. I have software on Steam that I think you can do stuff like that with. I haven't touched it in quite a while. That's awesome, bro. I was thinking it was nighttime in the city outside. The windows are daytime. Yeah, because it's just the backdrop. For whatever reason, I still can't. I keep changing my camera. My head should be up in the middle of these two monitors, but I'm a little higher. I'm a little bigger, but I'm still not quite there. But I'm sure I will be. All right. So before I get into the rest of the comments and such here, let's take a look at what's going on, because it looks like, well, according to Telegram, or not Telegram, according to TradingView, my stuff isn't dead on. I figured this 50 over 100 moving average would cross over by now. We're still a little bit away. Still a little bit away. You can see that my trajectory was very straight, very straight. Now my 100 moving average is much more accurate. This ended up kind of going out and then curved down. So I kind of missed that a little bit, because you can see this line here is the one I drew, and drew it all the way back in June. So yeah. So it might, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, because my time, it's still the 28th, but according to TradingView, we're currently on the 29th and we haven't crossed over yet. So maybe we cross over maybe at the very beginning of September and we see a huge dump in September. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm seeing. I mean, we've been seeing a bit of a dump today. I mean, we're currently trading at 19,860, which, I think I saw somewhere that the current mining profitability is somewhere around 16,000 or something to that effect. So we have some time. We have a way to go down if we want to. But, typically the price, I need to do some back testing on that, but I think the price doesn't generally dip below mining profitability, because at that point networks start shutting down. I could be wrong about that though. I for whatever reason, I'm thinking we did do that in like 2018. Did we not? You guys have to let me know in the comments, because I can't remember specifically. But and then here, I still want to touch on this. I still want to touch it. We had the 200 weekly moving average that we dipped way, way low, but we didn't touch the 300. And I'm like, okay, well, typically the 200 weekly moving average is a bottom in previous markets. But given where we're at with everything going on, I really do believe, and I really do believe that there's a lot to be said about the CBDC tokens that are coming. And I really think that on a global scale, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, Biden this, Biden that, and Trump this, Trump that. And everybody's real politically divided about who's causing what to happen in the world, or in the US. But if you look at what's going on in countries all over, all these countries are mass inflation, a lot of similar things, a lot of supply chain issues, a lot of things. Now, there's a difference between people, I think, that are willing to play ball with the global plan, and if a lot of these countries start creating their own CBDCs and the way that this programmable money is utilized, it is a little scary because I'm thinking to myself, well, if we start to usher in this CBDC token, what does that exactly mean to crypto? What does that mean to us? And that's what I'm honestly still trying to figure out, because I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means to our dollar. I don't know what it means to the money that's sitting in our bank accounts. I don't know what it means. You would think, okay, well, we're no longer using the US dollar, but we are using this digital form of money, these CBDCs. Is all of the money that we have sitting in a bank account just instantly converted over into these CBDCs and then we're issued? And if they are, what systems do we have in place to utilize these tokens, the centralized programmable cryptocurrency, for making payments and things? Granted, from bank to bank, or maybe to utility companies, things like that. But outside of that, what sort of systems are in place? Like, let's say I want to buy a car and I'm using my CBDC tokens. How do I do that? I feel like we're still quite a ways away from that, especially considering countries like China and was it France or Italy? I mean, there are a few of them that I think that are already kind of using these tokens in different ways. So, but that's definitely going to be a topic in a future video. I just haven't had time to deep dive into it the way I want to. But they're coming, and there's a lot about those that concern me, because there's still too many questions I have. Mr. Feathers, I'm a software engineer at Google and would like to find a way to teach those on the downside of advantage how to code, program, and be job ready. That's cool. I've always wanted to learn to program. I've always wanted to learn how to program. I feel like programmers and software developers, I mean, the world is your oyster, another thought I had too is I watched the entire interview with Joe Rogan and Mark Zuckerberg. It's like 3 hours, and I'm like, but it was worth it. It was worth it. It was pretty eye-opening, and it just made me feel like I might buy some Facebook stock. I don't own any traditional stock. I've got some GBTC, some like paper Bitcoin. I think I bought like one of those, and then it split into like 92 shares. I have no idea, because it's been years since then. So I don't really even know what the situation is with those. I haven't followed up on it. I just figure, well, that's the one Bitcoin that I never get rid of, kind of thing. And that's through like a financial advisor, and that was just something that my wife and I did like early on. And she was like, well, I'm going to do our stock stuff, and I'm going to get this financial advisor. I'm like, you do that, I'll do crypto. And then I don't know, like 3 months later, I paid off our cars. And I'm like, how's that financial advisor doing? So, but I do think, and I thought, well, I could use Robinhood, but I don't really know how much I trust Robinhood personally. I used to love it. I used to dabble with it and build a little portfolio of dividend stocks and things. It's really what I was doing when I first discovered crypto to begin with. But I don't know how I feel about building a portfolio long term on something like a Robinhood. I just don't know. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. But I mean, as far as software engineer and stuff like that, I still have books. I have books on Haskell and books on Python. And one of these days I'm going to sit down and really start grinding that out. I've just got so much stuff to do, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to do it every day. It's like learning any language, whether it's programming or learning Spanish or something. Like, when my wife was teaching herself Spanish before we moved to Puerto Rico, she legitimately taught herself Spanish in 4 months, but she also lived and breathed it. I mean, she was on Duolingo. Oh my gosh, that Duolingo was constantly ding, ding, ding. And she'd be in bed, we're watching a show, ding, ding, ding. It's Paquito. She's just, just blurting out Spanish words into her phone all night. But she learned, and she got conversational with it. And I was super, super impressed. I'm always so impressed with my wife. Like, she's definitely her own person. And I used to joke with her that she's like Wednesday from the Addams Family. I'm like, well, perfect, because I'm Lurch, right? Like we're the Addams Appleton family. That's okay. Coffee is a monster. He is. I mean, he's pretty sharp. I gotta admit, he's pretty sharp. You introduced me to Cardano. I'm in 10 cents. Thanks. Well, that's great, Ava Angel. I've always loved to see that. I bought in with 30,000 ADA in 2021 and gave it away as a present. Holy cow. Well, shoot. I mean, good on you. Tube Sound. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's going to be a big chunk of change here in a few years. She's in my pocket. Don't you wish? Crow, what do you think about global warming? Oh boy. Oh gosh, that's just a can of worms you had to hit me with right now, didn't you? To be quite honest with you, I feel that it is cyclical. I mean, I've seen evidence to show that a lot of the information and the charts over time are cut at certain points that don't show how it, if you go back in time, the whole global warming thing spikes up and comes down, spikes up and comes down. If you look at any charts over the last, I don't know, however many years, you basically just see it rise, 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 rise. And we're told it's because of this, it's because of cow farts, it's because of carbon, it's because of XYZ. And what I also know is that anytime we have an election and a president that's running doesn't get elected president, he ends up with some big cushy job at somewhere in the green space. I mean, look at Kerry, look at Gore, look at these. I mean, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of money to be made making the world green. That's what I think. And, I mean, it's a noble effort to some degree. I mean, who doesn't want a better world, a safer world, a less polluted world? But I also think that, a lot of the narrative around a lot of it is maybe exaggerated a bit. Now, let's say hypothetically, now I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you 100%. I could be completely full of shit, but let's just say hypothetically, the world and global warming and all of that stuff, the temperature rising and the core, all that stuff. Let's say it is cyclical. Who's to say that because of everything that we do, whether it's all the cows, whether it's all the carbon emissions from the cars and all of that, let's say that we don't magnify the cycle in our lifetime, right? And I do think about that because, yeah, maybe it is a cyclical thing. Maybe there is such a thing as highs and lows like anything else, like the price of Bitcoin. If we were to take the price of Bitcoin and extrapolate it over a time period, and then we throw a lot of other variables into that mix during one of those cycles where, I mean, like we say, institutions are coming in and we're always looking for those variables that's going to send that Bitcoin price up that much higher than the previous cycle. So who's to say the same thing isn't necessarily happening with global warming? And that is what I do consider, because we have a lot more cars. We have a lot more variables to the current warming cycle than any previous cycle before it. So, and there are other variables to that as well. I mean, the temperature of the sun and there's just so many different things that could be changing. So from that perspective, if that's what we're happening, which I don't know, then it makes sense. Cut down your carbon emissions, cut down your carbon footprint, make more recycling, all of that stuff plays a factor. So do I think it's all important? Yeah, I do. I do think it's all important. Do I think do I think a lot of people are making a lot of money making those changes to the world? Yeah, definitely. Is that wrong? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully I don't get shut down for that. By the way, you're one of my favorite streamers since 2015 or 16. Don't remember. Well, thank you. But I first came on in 2017. Actually, November 4th of 2017, I think, was my debut on YouTube. But helium, you have to have the device mining in your home. Was thinking about it, but worry about the 5G effects. So I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, because 5G is extremely powerful, but it's short wave. So you kind of need all these repeaters everywhere. And what I've been seeing about the helium technology, actually, while I was out at the Crypto Connect Expo recently in West Palm Beach, I talked with the co-founders of a company and they have their own mining equipment, and it's more high end. I think it's more industrial. Uh, it's like outdoor. You know, they mount these things on the outside of your home with these giant antennas. What I'm learning and because when I first saw their booth, I thought these guys are full of it. Like, let's see what their scam is, right? That's how I went into it. And I walked up to them and I kind of played stupid. You know, they didn't know anything about me or who I was. And I was like, so sell me on this equipment. Like, what makes it so special? What is this all about? And they go into their whole pitch. And as he's talking, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, a giant antenna that gives you like 100-mile radius. Oh, okay. That's a big deal. Like, because the thing was, it's like the equipment, it might cost you like $1,500 to $3,000 or whatever. And then they split the tokens with you. So like, you're mining helium off your house, and 50% of those tokens are going to them after you've paid for all the equipment. I'm like, well, how does that make sense? But the equipment, I mean, you're talking about 100-mile radius antenna, where generally speaking, a lot of the equipment, like the little $400 helium miners you're going to pull off of Amazon or something, you're not getting a big radius on those things. There's really no antenna at all. I mean, it's almost like, yeah, at that point, your network is feeding off basically your direct surroundings, which isn't going to treat you very well. You're not going to make any money. A lot of helium miners right now are basically working, not necessarily at a deficit, but they've got these miners going. They don't use much power, but they're not really making any return anyway. But the big thing is 5G, because when you're talking about 5G, as it sits, 5G's focus really is empowering the Internet of Things. And, when you talk about the Internet of Things, you talk about VR, augmented reality, metaverses, the way we're basically tokenizing everything, we're turning everything into NFTs, all of that data transmission needs to go somewhere. And if you think about it, I mean, you can mount some of these miners on a car. Now you're a mobile hotspot for a 5G network, and you're generating a return on people that are utilizing that mobile 5G network as you're driving around in your car. So the technology is such that, like, when CoffeeZilla did his video, I'm like, you know what? He makes a million really good points. But the one thing that he didn't really touch on much is how things will very likely change when 5G technology is truly adopted on a mass scale and the Helium 5G network is utilized with much more frequency. That's something that I'm like, okay, Coffee, you got me there. You pointed out a lot of stuff that I was not thinking, the whole like miner Ponzi and all that. And I'm like, is that cynical or is it real? It could really be either way. I'm leaning towards it's the early adopters of the mining technology that made quite a fortune as new miners were hitting the network and kind of helping to establish that mesh, that network for low RAN or whatever. But nobody's using it. Nobody's using it for anything. So there really isn't much of a mining return off of anything other than maybe other people buying the mining equipment. So let's just assume that is true. Well, the other side of that is when these new miners start really building, and they're basically building a bigger mobile 5G network all over communities. Yeah, I mean, I think that people stand to make a pretty good chunk of change as that stuff starts to really take shape, and I wouldn't mind being a part of that. So I've actually been meaning to reach out to this company. Now, he started talking to me about making investments and all this other stuff, and it's like I'm not necessarily interested in making a like company investment. I'm interested in the hardware. I'm interested in the tech side of it, although their business model is probably pretty solid, I'm guessing. But I wanted to see a deck. I wanted to see all the information. I haven't even touched base with them yet. So yeah, Marky, I mean, on that note, it's still a pretty big deal, I think. I'm not counting helium out. Now, what I'm also really looking into is World Mobile Token, and I'm likely going to have a video potentially this coming week about World Mobile Token, because they are definitely doing some big things. And I think the World Mobile Token is going to definitely grow. I mean, they're still building infrastructure. They're still doing things, and they're growing in pretty big ways. So if you're going to look at helium, I'd also look at World Mobile Token for sure. Hopefully that was helpful. Rusty Kuta. To-do list this week: catch up with your buddy. Yeah, because you don't call me anymore, man. I thought you loved me. You don't love me anymore. It's all right, man. It's okay. No big deal. I'm I'm not sure what those are. Jungle Ink. I'm not sure, but I like the avatar. Is that Scarface with like EDM glasses on or something? That's kind of funny. Um, don't be don't be at BitBoy X Place. I'm not sure what you're saying there, brother. I love BitBoy. I mean, anybody that doesn't like him doesn't know him. That's all I can say. Little Crow 1.35.3 is at 74%. Yeah, we're good. I know that my guy is in the process of updating the Crow node right now, so it should be finished by the end of this week. It's not an easy upgrade. Apparently, it takes some time for syncing and things like that. He said the one thing was syncing for like 3 days, so it's not a quick thing, and you don't just update some software and let it go. You got to do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I know. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, BitBoy's a big boy. You know what I mean? He can take care of himself. He doesn't really need me or anything. And you know, I don't know. I mean, from what I see with CopyZilla, I mean, he seems to be pretty fair in some ways, but I think maybe he takes a little. I don't know. He might take things a little too far with assumptions at some points, but you know, I don't know. I have to say that I like a lot of CopyZilla's work. I mean, I do. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that. I mean, the video he did on Helium really got me thinking. So kudos to him. Mike's Crypto. Hey, Crow, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Mr. XRP. Mr. XRP. What else do we got in here? Let's get some positive news, some positive stuff going on. Cool, bro. Make sure to send an announcement. Yeah, I will be announcing. I know that we're doing the yeah, on the 31st. On the 31st, I know we're getting ready to do the that Twisted Times thing, getting that going. We're going to be dropping those Twisted Times to the Murder of Crows NFT holders. So I'm excited. I haven't even checked metrics on that in a while. I should probably look at that. Don't know what the F is going on with crypto and the World Economic Forum. Oh, I know what's going on. There's just a lot of things I don't feel comfortable saying in detail. Night Court, great show. Isn't it though? I love that show. I loved it. Alex, late night Crow. Yeah. Late night. I figure why not, man? I was having a thought I wanted to share and I wanted to get this out into the world. I crushed on Marky and I'm not even who didn't? It must have been the pencil skirt. I don't know. You know, that was the first. Oh my gosh. And John Larroquette. I mean, the way he hit on her all the time in that show, just the dynamic of everybody was great. Remember the episode with the guy with that turtle disease, turtleitis or whatever, where everything he did was real slow, and the whole episode was basically this guy getting into the court. I don't know. It was funny. I missed that show, and I know they're still airing it. Wait, what? Nuh-uh. Marky Post passed away this year? Hold on. I'm gonna have to look this up. Wow, wait a minute. Oh my God. Wait. She did last year, August 7th of 2021. Oh my goodness. I guess I'll share this so everybody can see what I'm looking at. Marky Post on Wikipedia. Wow, that's an old picture of her. Marjorie Armstrong, Marky Post, November 4th, 1950. Wow, she was born in 1950. Passed away August 7th, 2021. Wow. Night Court ran from 1985 to 1992 on CBS. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. The Fall Guy. Oh my gosh. I think my mom used to watch that show. Oh, well, that's sad. Who else passed away recently that I was like, oh, that's terrible. Now I can't remember. Wow, that's crazy. You know, it really is such a weird thing when as you grow older and the people, even just watching people that you've been watching your whole life and watching them grow older. And it almost seems like everyone in Hollywood is like 20 years older than you remember. or 20 years older than you. They could have been, a celebrity or on a show and they're the same age as you, but somehow they're like 20 years older than you are later. I don't know how that works. It's kind of crazy. You ever think of another big meetup? Yeah, I do. And I've talked to Cassie. She's all down for it. She's like we got to do another meetup. And I'm all for it. I would definitely like to see more people turn out. I think we had 9 people at the first meet and greet meetup kind of thing. And it was cool, but it's like I want more people sharing information. I don't really want it to just be about me. It's not really about me. I'm just trying to like use the platform to bring people together. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of good conversations and a lot of connections made and things like that. But I think some people may have been under the impression that it was like a crypto crow thing. And I call it a meet and greet, I guess. And I shouldn't do that because it's not what I mean. When I say meet and greet, I mean meet other people, greet them, talk to them, like talk to each other. It's not like just like a time for me to make a lecture at a restaurant. I mean, I could, and I think about it, but that's not the whole point of it. Night Court, Charles in Charge, Who's the Bot? I watched Perfect Strangers, Larry Appleton, Mama's Family, and the list goes on and on and on. So true. I watched all those. Charles in Charge, Who's the Boss? Oh my gosh, I was in love with Alyssa Milano like nobody's business. Now I'm pretty sure she's just lost her marbles. But back in the day, she might have been like my first like big crush. I don't know what was I 8, 9. I don't even know how old I was back then. Polly P followed you on Twitter, and I was actually surprised to see that I wasn't already following you on Twitter. I saw you comment on the thing I posted the other day. Lots of games being played with a 200 moving average. It's being overused everywhere now. Yeah, which is why I think the new focus is on the 300. Honestly, we did DRP below when we got below about 4,100. Yeah. Crow, what do you think about the crypto pound or the crypto euro? I mean, I know a lot of people are already using a lot of that stuff. So the biggest reset of all will be the reserve currency shift to crypto. Well, that's what I'm talking about. The reserve currency shift is going to be to a CBDC token. CBDC deaths to crypto, to be honest. Yeah, see, that's what I don't know. And now I did make a prediction a long time ago that I believe that once they institute a CBDC token, that people who are using like Coinbase or Kraken or any of these other exchanges, like the US regulated exchanges, when they're using these platforms to as like fiat gateways or whatever, I do believe you're going to have to go into a CBDC token first. I don't really know how a lot of this stuff is going to be implemented, but I think when you go into crypto and leave crypto, you're going to start with CBDCs and CBDCs. I mean, that's what I really think. So I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if they try to institute a way so that every crypto trade has to go through CBDCs first. Because if they institute a way to do that, if they say, okay, you want to trade Ethereum for Bitcoin, all right, that's fine. But in the back end, you're going to be trading into CBDCs first. And they were able to institute a way to regulate and mandate like all exchanges and force that kind of transactional activity. It gives them total control over all centralized exchanges, even potentially decentralized exchanges, depending on how they're set up. And the ones that aren't willing to play ball with that sort of thing are going to get shut down. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen at all, but I'm saying that if I were a government and I were looking to enforce the use of a centralized digital banking currency, that's what I would do. I mean, it only makes sense. So CBDCs are going to be dystopian. I mean, it's going to give a lot more control to everything and everybody. Mark Becky, hi, Crow, finally made it to a live show. Well, I am glad you made it. What is your opinion? I heard ETH could go higher than Bitcoin, but Cardano could go higher than Ethereum. I think Bitcoin is always going to go up higher first, primarily than anything else does. Oftentimes in the market cycles, we see Bitcoin rise, and then when we start seeing a correction, and everything typically rises together, but Bitcoin seemingly rises first, and then a lot of the profit from those trades start spilling into the altcoin market, into Ethereum, and so forth. But it's also a thing where if you are a trader and you can, like, okay, put it this way. If Bitcoin is $100,000, would you rather buy a tiny fraction of Bitcoin so that if it goes to $125,000, you're able to make an extra $10? Or would you rather buy 1,000 tokens of something else and hope it goes up, $1? You're going to buy 1,000 other tokens. So the same to me is going to be happening with Ethereum. You're going to have a lot of whales that are trading Ethereum. But I think the price of Ethereum as it rises is going to be more and more out of reach for people, because people want to trade whole tokens. They don't want to trade a fraction of a token, right? You say, oh, you can buy $100 worth of a Bitcoin. All right, yeah, cool, you can do that. But if Bitcoin goes from $50,000 to $60,000 and you only own $100 worth of a Bitcoin, you're not really making that much money. When if you know that the same amount of money can accumulate a lot of full tokens in another project that's also likely to go up 20, 30, 40, 50% or 10x or whatever, you're likely going to put money there. I mean, that's just the way the mind works in a lot of regards. So yeah, I think I think that Cardano, especially once Cardano launches the Vassal and launches Hydra, which is all I'm sure going to take place before the next market peaks, probably going to take place before the next halving. And yeah, I think it's going to go a long way. But will they care that we don't have a way to use them efficiently? No, I think there are going to be ways to use them. I just don't know exactly how that's going to come to play yet. We will not give up fiat, but we are in big trouble with Russia, China, and the rest of the BRIC nations to make an international reserve currency backed by a basket of different minerals, gold, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I've seen the videos. I saw a really good video about, the new world currency and the CBDCs and the BRIC and this and that. And then I saw Lark. I saw him do a video. It was almost identical. It was just like recent. Like the one video I saw was like 3 weeks old. Mark's video is very new, but I felt like I was watching the same video. But there's good information in both of them. But ultimately, this is definitely becoming a thing, and information is spreading. So, I mean, we'll see. I just wish I knew 100% like what to do with money, what to do with my money. Because I still do. I think that September is going to be a bad month. I mean, it could be bad between now and December. It could go even worse. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Day after day, I'm reading and watching and just trying to understand what's happening. And when I feel like I have my head wrapped around something, that's typically when I go live and I try and share it with you. So yeah. Ding ding, that's awesome. Not your keys, not your crypto, no Robinhood. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't use Robinhood for crypto anyway, but like for traditional stocks, it was kind of fun to build like a little bit of a dividend portfolio on Robinhood and watch money hit my account. That was fun. For me, global warming has nothing to do with politics. It's about my Christmas without snow, and there are even less BIR every year. I'm not sure what. I don't tube sound. I don't know. I agree, but the water is dirty, and that's our fault for sure. Yeah, I mean, pollution is a real thing, and we're definitely doing it. What do you think about sudden adult? Oh, I think a lot, but if I even tried to talk about that, I'm sure I'd get wiped off of this platform. I have not seen that, Marky. I have not seen that. The Night Court theme song has been stuck in my head for 15 minutes now. You want to know what song has been stuck in my head? I wish I could play it. Running up that hill, you're running up that road. Just over and over and over. Basically the like running up that hill with the Meg Myers version. My wife loves Meg Myers. I like her too, actually. My wife has turned me on to her, and some of her songs are so stinking good. But I didn't know that Meg Myers redid the original song from like the 80s or whatever, and then redid it, and then they used that in the Stranger Things. And it's so powerful, and that song is so stinking good. Even my daughter was belting it out the other day, and I'm like, oh my god. And then that got it stuck in my head again, and I'm like, you're grounded. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fresh fish, a lot of good seafood stuff in Florida, though. Cardano bottom price off the top of my head, 28 cents. I don't know. I really don't know. I just literally pulled that number out of thin air. But I'm ready. I mean, I'm ready to average down. I mean, once it gets into the 30s, I'll probably buy some more, and then if it gets into the 20s, I'm going to buy more. So it is what it is. I'll put it on my husband's car then. So you're worried about the 5G waves doing something to you, but you're going to throw them on your. Okay. All right, Marky. I see you. I see you. I see how it works over in that house. Please, let's discuss cornucopias. I mean, I just watched another video. You guys got to be, if you guys are not following Cornucopias on their YouTube channel and you're watching the stuff they're putting out there, you better start taking notice. I'm still waiting for some things. I think it's going to be like another month or two, I think, until I'm able to dive in and start building some stuff and showing it off. But as soon as they give me access to these toys, you can rest assured I'm going to be doing cornucopia specific content on the regular as I'm building up all the stuff that I plan on doing with my land. Don't you worry. And another thing that I'm doing too is Eartha. Because I've been involved in Eartha for like, I don't know, it's been a year or so. And they just launched a downloadable client and they're starting to kick off with a lot of cool stuff. And I tried to log in today and I couldn't. And I'm like messaging the devs and I'm like, hey, I just tried to log into this and it's kicking me off. And I'm like, what's happening? But time zones and things. But Eartha is a totally different thing than Cornucopias. Much more strategic, much more like almost like global simulator kind of thing. But I've got some stuff in Eartha too, and I'm like very much looking forward to playing around with that. I just want to build a world empire in Eartha. Did you ever watch Black Mirror? I know Charles said he's a big fan of it. Makes you think pretty hard about the world that could be. Yeah, I've seen. I saw the one episode where the guy is working on like a choose your own adventure game, and it was like going back and forth. It was like becoming his real life or something. And I saw clips of the whole like social credit score episode. I just haven't watched the whole thing, and I probably will. I need to sit down and start watching that. Right now, I just finished Battlestar Galactica, which I basically bought every season on Amazon. I just love that show, and that's what I've been watching that for probably 6 months. You know, when I'm like going to sleep and I've got a show going, I'm watching Battlestar Galactica. That's over. So now I'm watching the last season. What's new? It's a new season of I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred. I can't remember the name of it. This is a medieval series. It's good. I love medieval stuff. And we watched the new episode of the new, was it House of Thrones or so? I can't remember what it's called. House of the Dragon. It's basically the prequel to Game of Thrones about the Targaryen family. And I'm like, this is good, man. I'm like into this. This is really good. I'm waiting for the Lord of the Rings series to start popping off. Waiting for the boys to start kicking off. There's so much good stuff, man. We love, my wife and I love to just like we love getting wrapped up in a really good season. And I have to stop her because we get into a season and we're finishing up episode or like 2 episodes. It's like one more. I'm not ready to go to bed. My wife is like a kid at night who doesn't want to go to sleep. She knows she needs to, but it's like if anything's going on, she's like one more, and she always falls asleep like 10 minutes in. So even if we watch 2 episodes, we get into the third, 10 minutes later she's passed out. So I just tell her, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to watch like half of this episode until I realize you're passed out and I got to start it all over again tomorrow. Like we're not doing that. We got 2 episode limit now, but we do love to get lost in a series, a good series. We did watch. So we cut it because it was time for bed. She goes to sleep way earlier than I do. I could be up until 4 a.m. She wakes up at like 6:30 to take our daughter to school. So she goes to bed way earlier than I do. But we watched the new Elvis movie, which is pretty good. Honestly, I thought it was going to be really cheesy from the trailers, but it's actually pretty well done. And we watched The Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone. That just came out on Amazon Prime. That was actually pretty good. I fell asleep watching it, but only because I was just super exhausted. But it was pretty good. What do you think of XDC? I love ADA. I don't know anything about XDC. I might have to look that up. Good morning from SoFlo. Finally caught you live and forever. What's up, Joey D? Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in quite a while. Joey D, always flexing in the chat with his big muscles, getting his swole on. I bet you, did you see the stuff like the Liver King? I don't know. I've watched a couple things about the Liver King, and I don't know. Every time I see you fitness guys, you're all in great shape and everything. I'm like, I bet you like old Liver King, don't you? I can't. I don't. He's raw everything, doesn't he? Like raw liver, raw meat, and oh, that sounds disgusting. Oh, Mike's crypto. You mean like chain wise? I'm not sure. Not sure what that's in reference to. Crow, did you get your cornucopias dome? No, I don't think I don't. I wasn't able to get one off of Mint. I'm working on it. I should be getting one. I will have one. Don't you worry. I think I'm getting an epic custom dome. I'm pretty sure that's what's coming to me. Mid-election is when we hit bottom. I don't know. Hey, Crow, what are some of your favorite sites to find research articles? Well, research articles on crypto, Crypto Panic, cryptopanic.com. Pretty sure it's .com. Yeah, cryptopanic.com. I mean, this is basically where I get like if I'm looking for stuff and I want to know like what's going on in the crypto world, I go to cryptopanic.com. It's one of the best crypto news aggregators I've found. And yeah, I mean, and you can come up here and search and I'd be like, okay, what's going on in Cardano right now? Boom. I hit that. Every one of these articles is the latest and greatest about what's going on with Cardano. So yeah, that's what I use. Cardano currently trading at 43 cents. And a friend of mine, he's like, man, you called this because I don't know. When I was first talking about it, I think Cardano was up in the 50 cents something. Might have been getting close to 60 cents. And he's like, we're going up. Should I be buying in? I'm like, just wait. Just wait. It's going to come back down. Don't worry. Don't get excited. It's going to come down. And, of course, he's messaging me yesterday like, dude, you were so right. He's like, how do you know all this? I'm like, I've just been around. I've watched it. It's, I don't know how I know. I'm used to seeing this stuff over and over and over again. We're not done yet. Yo, what MMA fighters you like? Me. I'm just kidding. I love the Diaz brothers because I love how they're just savages. I was born in Stockton, California. They represent Stockton well. A couple crazy, just no F's to give dudes with mad skills, and like I love them. They grew on me. I didn't always like them, honestly, because I thought, man, they're just crazy. But no, man, I like them. They're just kind of like, if you want to be cool, we can be cool. You want a problem, I'll give you a problem. And I just kind of like that. I like that attitude, who else do I like? There's so many. I mean, I like a lot of them. Obviously, I like Anderson Silva. I mean, I'm old school though too. Like I love Dan Severin. I love Randy Couture. I miss the old school guys. Like there was something about the magic of these guys, these champions in that day. I don't know, man. There's so many MMA fighters that I just really, really love. And when I was a fight promoter and I worked with a lot of these guys, like like Rashad Evans, one of my favorites. Rashad Evans is one of the nicest, sweetest murderers ever. Like not literally, but like in the cage, he's a beast, a monster. He will jack you up and then probably give you a hug afterwards and be like, hey, you want to get a drink? Like, what's up? How you feeling? I met him in Louisville, Kentucky at a fight show, man, and he was just super cool. And then I met Matt Hughes. I think I might have met Matt Hughes. Man, I can't remember. He was at one of my shows once. I can't remember why or what was happening. And he was just so arrogant, man, and so just kind of nasty. And I was just like, man, never meet your heroes, because I loved Matt Hughes until then. And then, of course, the tragedy with the train and everything, and it just jacked him up. And, and now obviously he's a totally different person. I mean, he's definitely been humbled. And, so I'm like, cool, and he's still out there trying to put the message out there. So it's like I like Matt Hughes, but man, years and years ago, I didn't care for him all that much. But Rashad Evans, man, he's one of the few who I was just like, because here's the thing: a lot of the guys in the UFC, like when I was a fight promoter, I would bring some of these guys. They would get cut from the Ultimate Fighter or whatever, right? And then I would fly them out from Vegas or wherever they lived or wherever they were training, and then I would put them up against up and comers that I managed or I trained with or I worked with, and sometimes these guys were just awesome people, and then a lot of times, man, they were just douchebags. Um, like Junie Browning. I mean, Junie Browning was a character, man. I mean, I know there's an article out there about me when he came and he fought for me, and man, I will tell you right now, like 80% of Junie Browning was all show. I mean, it was all show because I mean, that dude, I mean, he had issues, don't get me wrong, but I knew Junie Browning in Louisville, Kentucky before he even got on Ultimate Fighter. Him and his brother were both nuts. And because I was on a fight team and we went down to Louisville Gardens Arena, and him and his brother were fighting on the same card. And man, I'm pretty sure they both came out to like, Boy George, do you really want to hurt me? And they're like dancing and just acting silly, man. And they go in there and just dominate their opponent, and then the song comes back on. They're like dancing back out of the cage. I mean, they were just crazy, man. They had no F's to give. They didn't care. And when he got on Ultimate Fighter, man, he was just drunk all the time. He just kind of lost it. But when he was set up to fight for me, and then he got in all this trouble, and he called me. He was like, "Yo, man," he was like, "everything they're saying about me in the press is garbage, man." He's like, "It's not true." He's like, because they try to make it sound like he woke up in a hospital and attacked a nurse and all this other stuff, and they tried to make it like he just went crazy on everybody. And he was like, "That's not how it happened at all, man. I swear to God." He was like, something happened. I don't know if he drank too much or I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, he was waking up in a daze. Like he didn't know where he was or what was going on. He was like drugged up, and I don't think it was something he took. I think it was something they may have given him to like help him or something. And I guess he did he did something to a nurse when he was being woke up. And it wasn't like he went nuts and was trying to hurt anybody. He just didn't know where he was. And he was like telling me this whole story. And he was like, "I promise you, man." He was like, he's like, "That's not me. That's not me. It's not what I'm doing." He's like, "I just need another shot. I just need a chance." He's like, "I need to show people what I can do." And he's like, "I'm a different person." So then I'm like, "All right, cool." So I book him and he's going to fight. And he wins this fight. And I'm not going to get into some of the details, but he was doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing for sure. And he I don't know, man. There's so much more to that, but I just don't want to get into it. I like Junie Browning personally. I thought he was a cool dude, and behind the scenes, he was pretty cool, man. And he's just all about creating a show and controversy. And some of the stuff he would pre-plan, let's put it that way, because he asked me permission. Kind of like he's like, "Listen, Jason," he's like, I'm just letting you know, like after my fight, he's like, "I'm gonna win." He's like, "And after I win, I just want the microphone." He's like, "I'm going to do something that's going to be pretty crazy." He's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "It's not going to get anybody in trouble, I promise." He's like, "But I just want to do something a little crazy to give people something to talk about." I'm like, "Oh man." I'm like, "All right, but this is for TV, man." I'm like, "It can't be too nuts." And let's just put it this way. We had to cut that out because he had something to say to the crowd. And about 2 lines, he was just nuts. So I don't know. This is the long answer to your question, but why not? I mean, it's 12:30. Who cares? Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of fighters I like. I've been considering trying out the Crowbot. Is it still available? Yeah. Just go to crowtrader.com. You can download it right there on the homepage, latest version. And you can do everything but live trade for free. So you can do your back testing, your paper trading, all that stuff. You don't even have to buy the bot. If you're doing it and you're like, "Oh, this strategy works, this looks good," and you're paper trading for a while, and you're like, "All right, I think I like," you learn how to change the settings and all the different strategies, then you can buy it. Nobody's trying to force anybody to buy it before you can figure out how to use it. I will say it's really easy to learn how to use, though. And the Bollinger Band strategy is definitely the easiest strategy for profit, and it's the easiest to change in the settings and things. I want so very much to believe in Cardano, but I'm very much afraid. Will it ever flip Ethereum? I have no idea. There's no way for me to possibly know that, but I definitely think it's going to do very, very well. Still have the Crowbot. Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I still have it running back testing and paper trades right now, but I don't know how it's been performing. Let me hopefully this doesn't mess up my stream. Let me take a look because I haven't stopped it. I did take the money that I had on. Oh, I can't. I got to log in and do all kinds of stuff, and I don't have it all right in front of me. I have so many passwords, and they're all different, and I have so much stuff. Anything important that I have, I what I do for security, it's a pain in the ass. I'm not set up for that right now. But I'll check it out. I'll update everybody in another video about Crow Trader, what's popping. But I mean, if you really want to know, just join the Crow Trader Telegram because the people in there and everybody's talking about it. There are 452 members right now, and the last update was at 11:04 a.m. So it's active, and people are talking and sharing stuff and talking about how well this is doing, well that's doing. It's a cool group. I'm skimming through it right now. So yeah, if you're interested in the crowtrader.com bot, just check out the Telegram. Crow Trader. Yes, Crow Trader is amazing. Thank you, Tom. See, I don't want to tell anybody like, yes, it's the best thing. I mean, you know, I personally love it. I think it's great, but I don't want yeah, whatever happened to Bitcoin Ben? He was a prominent figure in crypto a few years ago and then just faded away. No, Bitcoin Ben, he's still around. He's even in my influencer group. He like tours around and stuff, I think now, doesn't he? Like he's still around. He's a sweetheart too, man. Like him and I both got emotional on a panel and like, was it Vegas? I don't remember. I think, yeah, it was World Crypto Con. I will say too, man, the next time World Crypto Con decides to do an event, I've been to several since then, and nothing has touched the World Crypto Con. Nothing. I actually missed that, and it's like one of those things. This is one of the first crypto conferences I've ever been to, and I'm like, wow. I mean, the way, you know, there are a lot of people complaining about this or that, like little prima donnas and like, oh, whatever. It was the best crypto convention I've been to date, and that was years ago. So I really hope that I need to go look and see if they've got anything planned because they did it right. I don't care what anybody said. It was awesome. Easy to set up. I downloaded it, never tried it, but I want to. Yeah, it's easy to set up. It's simple. I would probably use KuCoin though, for the exchange. If you have a choice, I would probably stick with KuCoin. Stockton, I'm Modesto. At least we're smart enough to leave. Well, I was born there. My mom moved me when I was like 4 months old. So met them a few times. Patrick the plumber. I've never met the Diaz brothers, but you know, we would either bro out or they'd punch me. I don't really know. That's, I guess, part of the thrill of meeting them, right? Getting late. Have to say my evening prayers. Good night, Ava. Good night. And I'm down to the last comment. So yeah, here we are, an hour and 18 minutes. Never broke 100 people live, but you know what? It's 12. It's midnight. It's tomorrow, folks. Get a good night's rest. And I'm sure I'll be back at some point this week. Maybe not tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm going to be working on content for a whole week in advance on the new channel. So I'm going to work on that new channel right now. And thanks for joining me. Big brothers, big sisters. Check them out. Maybe there's an opportunity there for you to touch a soul and be an everlasting memory in the life of somebody in the future. I don't know. But thanks again, Marvin R. Boren, for the positive memories of my childhood. And thank you for being you. I hope you're doing very, very well. I'm sure you'll never, ever see this. But if you do, you had a very big impact on my life, and I greatly appreciate it. Hope your whole family is doing well. And for the rest of you guys, until next time, crow your coins, and I'll see you again real soon. Enjoy your evening.